So I wanted to elaborate on Kaneki's child a little bit more, and I've talked a lot about Kaneki and Toka and their child and the future of both of those characters, but I haven't really talked about, I guess, the option for Kaneki's child. I feel like it's going to be a legitimate thing now. As much as the child is kind of still up in the air whether it's going to live or not, I do have a strong feeling that the child will live. Going back and looking at the chapters and just rereading the whole child stuff and how it comes to its, I guess, reveal, basically, it seems a little bit forced to me if, you know, Ishida were to play on the child just for the essence of tragedy, which it's something Ishida does, but not to that fullest extent, because at this point, Kaneki and Toka's child is a very big thing, and just adding this child to kill it off later, I feel like something Ishida wouldn't do. If anything, I feel like he'd kill off Toka, and we all know that Toka has massive death flags there. The question is, if this child is born during the war, which is kind of like the biggest point around this whole video, is the fact that I think that this child is going to be born right at the end of this war between Kaneki and Furuta, their, I guess, final confrontation. I think the biggest thing for me in saying that I don't think this child is going to stay under Kaneki's protection. Multiple different reasons for that is the fact that, you know, Kaneki and Toka cannot protect this child during the war. Literally anything can happen, and once everyone catches wind of the child itself, it becomes one of Kaneki's biggest weakness, if not his biggest weakness, right next to Toka. As much as Kaneki feels like he could protect the child, or Toka feels like they could protect the child, they really can't. Furuta has a lot of power, he has a lot of people, a lot more than Kaneki. He's in a much better situation than Kaneki, and if he really wanted to, in that time, to try and go down to Kaneki's group and kill the child, he could. I feel like Kaneki's smart enough to realize now that he cannot protect everyone in his group. Basically, he has to personally be there for them to be protected, and he can't be in multiple different places at once. Which leads me to believe that the child will be taken away. Someone will take the child and leave and basically never come back, which I know it sounds kind of dry to push the story in that direction, but it can be very, very emotional. And I feel like it's kind of the smartest option and the most kind of realistic option. I'd imagine if any child was born into a war or, you know, a battlefield that their parents didn't want him in, they would make that child leave by any means. The safest that child is ever going to be, if the war is still continuing, is not under Kaneki's protection. It's completely out of the Ghoul world, completely out of Kaneki's jurisdiction, and potentially completely out of Furuta's jurisdiction, whether Furuta knows about the child or not. Furuta's not going to draw all of his attention to that child if, say, one or two people take that child and completely run and leave, potentially even fucking across the earth. So then it all kind of boils down to who would take the child, and I feel like the best option, right? There is a bunch of people that I'm going to name, but I feel like the best option that I would love to see personally as well is Hide. I know Hide is not, you know, a played upon character. We don't know anything about Hide's, I guess, life right now, where he is, what he's doing, what he is. You know, like, he's a mystery to us, and we don't even know if he's ever going to return, but, you know, doesn't it feel like it would make a lot of sense to kind of bring this all around full circle with Hide taking the child and basically saving it and doing this massive favor for Kaneki, basically? I feel like something that Hide is destined to do, in essence. The only person that can keep this child safe is Kaneki's best friend that he thought he lost so many years ago, and then he returns and kind of everything unravels from there. I feel like it would be Kaneki's first pick for a person to take the child and leave, you know, if Hide was an option there. Like I said, it all kind of depends on where people are and where Hide is and what's going on. So I feel like it'd just be super emotional seeing like Hide take Kaneki's child and Kaneki saying goodbye to his child for the last time or whatever before going off into the final battle with Furuta. And then it also depends whether Toka or not is dead. As you guys know, Toka has a massive death flag, and it's kind of like, you know, if Toka dies, I can still see Hide taking the child, but if Toka lives, I can see Toka, Hide, and the child leaving altogether. I feel like Toka at this point would be like very mixed, you know, like, would she fight for the future of her child alongside Kaneki that involves leaving the child and never seeing her child again, which I feel like would be a very emotional thing as well, something that would be remembered for a very long time in the Tokyo Ghoul series? Or would she come to the conclusion that she would leave with the child alongside Hide, so, you know, obviously the child can grow up with a family member? There's a couple of different characters as well, but I really like the Hide option. I feel like it's very emotional. It kind of brings everything full circle for Kaneki and Toka and Hide, all his characters and how long they've known each other for. There's also Hinami as well at the end of the series. Hinami and maybe Ayato could take the child. Another big one is Akira and Amon potentially taking the child. Me and Jalen talked about Eto or even Rize to a certain degree taking the child. I mean, there's a lot of different different options there. You know, like if Eto was supposedly not dead and safe and sound, like imagine if Kaneki's son or daughter grew up with the strongest ghoul to ever live. And we know how Eto kind of falls off the radar. She's impossible to find. So I feel like she would be a very good person as well. But I think where my biggest answer lies is with Hide. And not because I feel like it would be like the best match, but because Hide could potentially still be human. And it kind of solidifies what Kaneki's trying to build right now with trying to join the humans and the ghouls together, is that the fact that if Hide raises Kaneki's child in a human world, you know, not dominated by ghouls whatsoever, it kind of solidifies what Kaneki built, and shows like a nice, beautiful world for his child, basically, not ruled by ghouls and death and havoc and everything along the sort. So it'd be an interesting thing to see. I'm excited to see how, I guess, the child kind of wavers Kaneki's decisions and where he goes. At the end of the day, this can all be debunked by saying that, you know, Hide's not going to return, and or the child dies, or the fact that Kaneki manages to defeat Furuta before his child is born. So, you know, that's a whole nother different scenario where like the war can be completed before Toga gives birth. So who knows, really. But I'm excited to see how everything unravels. Let me know what you guys think as well. With that being said, I'm actually going to end the video off here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.